So yesterday was Switzerland versus Colombia, and these two teams have proven to me yet again that they're two of the most boring teams in this World Cup. And I ain't talking about still in, I'm talking about two of the most boring teams. At least teams like Congo put up a fight against England, and they had a really good game against Bosnia. Teams like Paraguay, at least I felt frustrated watching the way they enabled the dark arts and they played. At least teams like Curacao had the decency to get battered 7-1 and there was 8 goals. These two teams are fucking masters of haramball and they're fucking shite, and to be honest, I didn't want either of them to go through. Are they there to execute a game plan? Yes, they are. They don't care if it looks nice. They don't care if the job's dirty. They're there to get it done and go through. However, they're both really poor, and every Switzerland game and every Colombia game that I've managed to watch this World Cup has been a massive bore and a fucking waste of time. I wasted 3 hours last night watching that. I could have turned it off, but it gets to the point where you're into it now and you're like, you need to watch it. That's basically all I'm going to say on it. There were barely any chances. Colombia had the better of them. What chances there were, and that's that. Neither team has won a knockout before in the World Cup, and therefore neither team has won a penalty shootout in the World Cup either before. So one of those had to get past it, and in the end that was Switzerland. The penalties, we'll talk a little bit about that. Fuck me, Akanji. That was a shite penalty, man. He put it right up. It reminded me of that Australian captain's penalty. It was fucking dreadful. Overall, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. God, I can't remember it. But the Swiss keeper was pretty good. One of the saves he made was good. It was a good height for him, but it had a lot of power and it was well placed and he managed to get to it. So I'm happy with that. The Colombians, I expected more from the penalties from the Colombians, to be honest. I thought they could have provided a little bit more in that remark. They looked a bit more pressured than I thought they would do. But I mean, after all, there was a lot on the line. But yeah, this is one to forget. This is not one of the great matches of the World Cup knockouts. And to be honest with you, the less said about it, the better. Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to fill the 3 minutes today. So if you want more World Cup news with a sprinkle of opinion, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And don't watch any Switzerland games unless your nation's playing.